Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new here today. My name is Dina and I'm just gonna start off by saying this is a very different video for my channel. I'm sorry for my sound. I'm still not feeling really well. I am here to kind of update you and to let you know that I won't be decorating today. Last Thursday, which actually, let me think here. It's probably gonna be 2 weeks past by the time you see this video. So a couple Thursdays ago, Ronnie and I were celebrating our 33rd wedding anniversary on that day. And so we got up with intentions of just kind of heading to the coast and having a good day. But I woke up with a sore throat, not really feeling 100%, but I thought, you know what? It's just a sore throat, we can get going. I never even really mentioned it to Ronnie that morning, and we had a wonderful day. I started feeling a little bit tired towards the end of the day, and again, really didn't want to say much because I knew we were out celebrating our wedding anniversary, and I didn't want to, dampen the mood or anything like that. And we were having such a wonderful day. I get in the car at the end of the day to kind of head home, and I thought, well, that's it. I just felt like totally drained, and it hit me. I think my body just knew I was trying to hold on for the day, and by the end of the day, I was just, I'm done. So I spent the rest of the evening in bed, obviously, and just not feeling well at all. You can probably hear it, I'm still kind of nasally, and it's been a week and a couple days now since then. So it's hung on pretty good. Not been the funnest experience, but it's not been the worst as far as, sore throat or anything. I've had a little bit of cough and just the runny nose and stuffiness overall. And just in the beginning, I felt like I had been hit by a couple trucks. But Friday spent all day pretty much in bed, just trying to rest, and that's really all I could do. I was so exhausted. Saturday, however, we were supposed to be going and picking Josiah and Lyssa up from LAX because they had been in Japan. They had taken a trip to Tokyo, Japan, and had the most wonderful time, and it was just so exciting to hear from them each day. They were so good about that. They called each and every day just to kind of let us know what they had done the day before, and kind of let us know what they were doing that day and what they had seen, what they had found, what they had purchased. And so we were just over the moon excited for them. They did get to go to Tokyo Disney, which I don't think I could have been more excited if I was going myself. There's just something about when your children are having an amazing time, nothing beats that, And so we're so proud of them to be able to do that and just to be able to see what they saw. Josiah has always been our world traveler. It is something that he has done since he was 18. He took his first trip overseas, and so he's just really enjoyed that, and I'm just so thankful that they are able to continue that on now that they're married. They didn't really get to go on a big honeymoon last year after getting married because they had both started brand new jobs and they just didn't have the time to do so. So they had saved up time to be able to do it this year, and I'm just so glad. But anyways, I got up Saturday morning with full intentions of riding down with Ronnie to pick them up, and I kind of felt bad. I even actually text Asaya and said, are you okay with me going with Dad? Because I know I've been sick for a few days, but I didn't want to make them uncomfortable because they would have to go back to work the next week, and I didn't want to possibly be contagious and make them sick. So it's like, no, Mom, that's fine. If you feel uncomfortable, wear a mask, whatever. Well, I got up Saturday morning and I just was not feeling good at all. I walked out to the kitchen and Ronnie was out there, and I didn't really want to say anything again. I hate being a burden. I just don't like it. I'm just be honest, I feel really, really guilty. And I just don't want to put anything extra on anybody else's plate. And so I didn't really mention anything to Ronnie again, but I did say, babe, I'm gonna go out and get some fresh air. And we were kind of he was standing kind of on one side of the fridge and I was on the other, kind of by the island in the kitchen. And so I slowly walked towards the back door, and the feeling kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I really couldn't describe it other than I just was not feeling well. I felt very flushed. I knew that. And I had been kind of warm during the night. And so I walked towards the door and I turned around when I got there and I said, baby, would you bring me a glass of water? And I thought, well, I'll go sit outside on the chair that we have, outdoor furniture right outside the door. And as I told him that was the last thing I know. I got very weak and I guess passed out is what we think. I blacked out, and then the first thing I heard after that was, baby, you have to let go. And after waking up, Ronnie told me he was in the kitchen when he saw it happening. And I think he kind of knew what was going on by what my body was doing. And I had grabbed a hold of the slider and my hand was just kind of stuck there. And that's what I think he had said he had mentioned it like 2 or 3 times before I heard him. Maybe you've got to let go of the door kind of thing, and I'm holding on and losing my balance, and my body is, the weight of my body is trying to make it to the floor, but I'm holding on to the door. And so I heard him the last time say, baby, you have to let go. And then I heard my ankle. I heard just kind of a crack, kind of a back and forth kind of crack. And I didn't think anything of it other than check my ankle. I didn't think it was broken. I just thought, you kind of hear your bones, especially as we get older. I hear my bones crack and creak every morning when I get out of bed. So I wasn't too alarmed, but I was nervous. And so he helped me lay there on the living room floor, and he checked my ankle, and there was really no immediate swelling or anything like that. And he felt it and things, and everything seemed to be in place. So he had me lay there though for a little bit longer just to regain my strength. He brought me some orange juice. We just think I hadn't really eaten very well in the last few days at this point, and my blood sugar maybe had gotten low. I was just feeling really, really weak. And then I think maybe getting overheated in the room, whatever. I think a combination of it all just was not my friend. So I laid there and then got up a little while later, and my ankle was very swollen. It had a slight bruise underneath the ankle bone itself, but I was able to kind of hobble around. It just wasn't the funnest thing to do. So I laid down. Obviously, the majority of the day, I still wasn't feeling really well. So I didn't really need to do anything other than lay down. And I didn't really want to do anything other than lay down. So he did go down to LAX by himself. Jeremiah woke up that morning. He was sick. So that wasn't good. And we also noticed that Millicent's eye wasn't looking real well. It just kind of was a little bit red, and actually maybe even a little bit, no, it wasn't puffy at that time. I think she was just kind of, it was weepy, and she was holding it a little bit closed. But when she'd opened it up, you could kind of see it was a little red, and we thought, oh, gravy, you know what have you done now? She is the most reckless, playful dog we have ever had in our whole entire life. I just don't understand her. She is a go-getter from the minute she gets up till the minute she goes to bed. I mean, every time I go in the laundry room, I don't know what it is about the laundry room, she brings me a ball so that I can throw it down the hall for her. If we take her outside, we actually have to count how many times we throw the ball for her, because we don't want her to get overtired, overheated, or hurt herself. And so we give her 10 throws, you know, every time we go outside, and we count them down for her. So we try to take really good care of her, but we have no idea what she hit, but she damaged her eye very bad. And we did end up taking her to the vet the next day. Ronnie sat there for 3 hours and got turned away from the vet because they had 3 extreme emergency cases come in. And so they weren't able to see her. So I called a few different vets in our area and no one was open. And so I called our vet back and said, look, I'm just really nervous about her. I don't want her to potentially lose her eye. Is there any way that you can see her? Because they had made an appointment, but it was like for 4 days later. And it just seemed like that's way too long to wait. So they got her in and she had damaged it quite a bit. In fact, we've had to round the clock put ointment in her eye, antibiotics in her eye, oral antibiotics, and we've had to keep her pretty much sedated. She does have a poor cone of shame around her neck, but she's done really well with allowing us to do all of that. We're just trying to save her eye. So by the time you see this, we will know if everything has worked the way it should with all of her medication. So I will update you in the next video on that. Now, I did go to the doctor, or I did go to urgent care on Sunday, Easter Sunday, because I woke up and my foot was just in a horrible amount of pain. I did try to kind of hobble around to get ready, and it just kind of bit at me, and I thought something is definitely wrong. And so I thought, nope, I'm gonna go back to bed. I told Ronnie, but I went back to bed. I thought, okay, I'm gonna lay here a minute and I'll try again. And so I tried to position my foot just right and was able to walk around a little bit better. But Ronnie was like, babe, let's just go. Let's go to urgent care. So this was about 7 o'clock Easter Sunday, and all the urgent cares were closed. I've never been to an urgent care before in my life. They were all still closed. And then most of them said they were going to be open at 8 or 9, but depending on Easter hours, they may not be open at all. So that was like, well, there we go. We may not even be able to get in. So we went to one, and they didn't have an x-ray tech in because it was Easter Sunday. So we went to the next one, and thankfully they did have one in, and they took some x-rays, and he was so sweet, and he kept saying, ma'am, we got some really good pictures. And in my head, I kept thinking, well, just tell me what they look like. But I knew he wouldn't. I knew that that's not his job, and I would have to wait for the doctor. So I did, and the medical assistant came in first with a big old cart full of stuff. And Ronnie's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what? What's this mean? And so he goes, yeah. And I'm like, what? And so, of course, the medical assistant can't really tell me anything either. So I waited what seemed like an eternity, which probably was like a minute and a half. And the doctor came in and she goes, so you broke your tib? No, what did she say? I think she told me I broke, let me see, my tibia? I think that's what she told me. And I didn't find out until I went to the orthopedic doctor that she told me the wrong bone. So let me see. Yes, because I broke my fibula. So she told me I broke my tibia, but I broke the bottom of my fibula. So yeah, right now I am in my second kind of brace, like a soft brace. I was in one, or they put me one rather, at urgent care. And then when I went to the orthopedic doctor, of course they didn't like that one. And so they took that off and put me on a brand new one, which is much nicer than my first one. And I have to be in this one for 2 weeks because my swelling was significant. And so they went ahead with that. Now, I will say, I'll back up and say that they did at first, or the doctor recommended me to think about if I wanted to go the surgical route or just try to heal it on its own. Now, it did break very clean, so it's not displaced or anything like that. So they really do think that it will heal well. Now, the reason he had talked about surgery is because he mentioned that he thought it would heal in a lot less time. So that's why he mentioned surgery. But a lot less time, was only about a couple weeks. And I thought, I don't know that that really makes sense. Why go in and put pins and stuff in my leg and in my body that's not supposed to be there to just get a couple of weeks back? So we are trying this route. So once the 2 weeks is up, I will go in and get a cast. And even then, I won't be able to put any of my weight on my foot then. And I think that's on for 2 weeks. Then I go back and I get a boot, and I'm hoping that I can put at least some weight on it sometime. Now, I've been so blessed because we have a wonderful friend who has lent me her knee scooter. So Sister Donna, thank you so much for that, because it has been a godsend. They gave me crutches at first, and I was talking to my friend Joanna, who is a physical therapist, and she said, oh my goodness, no, we don't give those to anybody over 12. I was so grateful to get this scooter. Our church family has been absolutely the best, the absolute best. If you follow me over on Instagram, you will know that every single day we have had meals delivered to our home. I have an abundance of flower bouquets on our dining room table right now. Everyone has been so amazing. My group of friends came right away with a medicine ball in hand, flowers, a card. They have texted, they have called. It's just been amazing. I have felt so loved. I have been in tears over it so many times, just thinking, oh my gosh, you know, they have taken such good care of us, helped Ronnie out immensely, because poor thing, he's having to deal with not only myself, but with Millicent. And so I just kind of wanted to let you know where we're at right now. So that is where we're at. I don't know when I will be back to decorating. I will try to put together a few videos between now and then, just to keep it going for your sake and for mine, because I don't really want to lose out on my analytics. And if I stop putting out my weekly videos, then it's just gonna nosedive. It really does. My subscriber numbers will go down even without people unsubscribing. It's just the way it works. And everything else will go down. So I don't want to have to build that back up if I don't have to. Now, I completely understand not everyone is going to watch these videos, but it is what it is. And I know right now you've probably heard by many YouTubers, even the very large channels, I have heard lately saying this is just the wrong time of year for YouTube. In our genre, it's just really hard for some reason. People aren't watching decorating videos this time of year. So we're all kind of waiting around for fall to start so that our numbers pick back up, which is totally fine. I mean, I honestly, I came back from my 1.5 year long break. If you're new, I did take a 1.5 year off because I had so many of you ask me to do so. And I just felt like the Lord had given me this platform for a reason. And that's why I'm here. I love you all. You guys have been absolutely amazing. We connect so much over on Instagram and things like that. So it means a lot to me, and I know that it does to so many of you, and I just can't tell you how thankful I am for all the love and support that you do offer us. It means the world to me. Now, I think I've been putting off my life update video for some time, so maybe I'll do that next week. I know a lot of you have had questions about my weight loss, so I'll throw that in there. If you have any other questions, I have to look through my little pile, but I have quite a few questions from putting that out before. But if you have any new ones about anything like Ronnie and I, his job, what we do, the kids, whatever, go ahead and put that down in the comments below for me so I can add that to my list. And I know some of you would rather message me personally. That's totally fine. I know a lot of you will do that over on Instagram or Facebook. Please feel free to do that. Message me either place, and I will try to answer as many questions as I can. And then I will just kind of rack my brain if you have any ideas of what I could do with not using my one leg, that would be great. So again, jot that down in the comments. But for now, I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Remember to stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.